Welcome to Goblin Hobbies. Today I'm going to talk about the tools and supplies that we use for stamping. The better we understand our tools, the more useful they become. We'll talk about the plates, the colors, the scrapers, and the stampers. We'll talk about what they are, how to use them, and how to maintain them. Other things that are useful to have are a good work surface, scotch tape, 100% pure acetone, paper towels, and makeup remover pads. The Stampin' plates are pieces of stainless steel which have been etched with designs and glued to a plastic backplate. They come with a protective film that needs to be removed. The cleaner you keep the plates, the better they will work. Use a bit of acetone on a paper towel or a cotton makeup remover pad to wipe down the plates before each use and to keep them clean between uses. Stamping miniatures is very similar to stamping fingernails in the cosmetics industry. In fact, the first generation of Stampin' Color is just a specialized type of nail polish. This stuff was designed for stamping, and it works pretty well. Essentially, this is a special purpose paint that uses organic solvents as the carrier liquid. When it's out of the bottle, the solvents start to evaporate, and the paint will dry quickly. It dries especially fast when it's spread thin, like on a Stampin' plate, on the head of the stamper, and after it's transferred to the mini. This type of nail polish is flammable and it emits organic fumes. The hazard level is exactly the same as many brands of nail polish. Avoid huffing the fumes and avoid using it near ignition sources. Treat this with similar respect to plastic cement or other specialty paints that use organic solvents. This is not the kind of nail polish that requires UV light to cure. The solvents evaporate and it dries to a reasonably durable finish all on its own. Varnishing your miniature is still a good idea, but the durability of dry Stampin' Color isn't too bad. To clean the plates between uses, we recommend 100% pure acetone. Acetone is a flammable organic solvent, so please use it responsibly. You can find acetone in the hardware store or in the cosmetics aisle of a pharmacy. If you end up buying nail polish remover, try to find the kind which is pure acetone and is not enriched with vitamins or moisturizers or essential oils or anything like that. The goal is to wipe the plate completely clean and not leave behind any kinds of residue. Goblin Hobbies is launching with 4 colors: black, white, light gray, and red. You can get access to more colors by stamping with white and then glazing over with a colorful wash. As long as you're being safe, there's no harm in experimenting with other paints. In general, water-based acrylic paints don't work very well, but you may find alternative products that work for you. You won't harm the steel plates unless you jam up the designs with glue or epoxy or something like that. You need to be a bit more careful with how you treat the silicone stampers. They're good at what they do, but they're vulnerable to mechanical and chemical damage. The heads of the stampers are transparent chunks of silicone. They're soft and flexible, and they can squish around different shapes to help you stamp on curved surfaces. That being said, you need to take care of them so that they don't rip and tear. Be careful if you're working around sharp bits on the model. Don't stamp down onto spikes. If you puncture the silicone, it can start to rip and degrade pretty quick. As dry paint and lint starts to build up on the silicone, the best way to clean it is with tape. Either scotch tape or packing tape work well. A lint roller will also work. Lightly dabbing the silicone onto the tape will clean things right up. For routine cleaning, tape is the way to go. However, for a new stamper, you may find it helpful to do a special one-time cleaning to remove any oils from the factory. This one-time cleaning is called priming the stamper. A primed stamper is slightly stickier, and it can make it easier to pick designs off of the plate. The gentlest way to do this is with soap and water. For a faster and more intense priming, you can use a pad soaked in acetone. A few light passes will do the job. Do this gently so that you don't scratch or rip the bulb of silicone. Also be aware that prolonged exposure to acetone can cloud the surface of the stamper. The reason these are made with clear silicone is so that you can see where you're putting the stamps. For this double-ended stamper, you can remove the silicone bulb that you're not using and set it aside so that you can look straight down the barrel and scope in on the target. We haven't talked about the scraper yet. This is just a piece of plastic that doesn't get melted by the solvents that we're working with. Dab Stampin' Color onto the plate and real quick scrape it across. This fills up the designs and removes the excess. Sometimes I use 2 quick swipes instead of just 1. If I use 2 swipes, I switch to a clean edge of the scraper for the second pass. There's a bit of a knack to the speed and pressure of the swipe, but maintaining the scraper is simple. Between each use, wipe off the old paint, wipe down the plate, and wipe the edge of the scraper. The more you learn about these supplies, the easier stamping will become. At Goblin Hobbies, we're in the process of building up a library of tutorials and frequently asked questions. These will be posted on goblinhobbies.com and on the Goblin Hobbies YouTube channel. In addition to our tutorials, you may want to look up advice about nail stamping in the cosmetics industry. Stampin' miniatures is a new technique, but stamping nails has been around for a while. There are people in the world who are very good at this. If you can stamp a fingernail, you can stamp a shield. We want you to experiment. You can buy nail polish for stamping in almost any color that you want. Also, stampers come in a variety of sizes and shapes, and you may find a particular variant of this tool that you prefer. Speaking of experimenting, I've been using silicone tape from the hardware store to get into tight areas. Sometimes minis will hold their sword in front of their shields, or there will be big pointy goblin ears right over the shoulder pads. Working with your models in sub-assemblies is one solution, but using a thin piece of silicone tape to do the transfers in tight areas is another option. Our hobby is filled with creative people. We're excited to introduce stamping to the world of miniature painting. The Goblin Hobby Stampin' Kits are a great place to start, but they're only the beginning. We can't wait to see all of the clever ways that you'll put stampin' to use. So have fun stampin'.